Welcome, and welcome. I'm Nobody, your storyteller, your number one fan, and hopefully one of the more enjoyable aspects of your evening tonight. This is officially In the Shadow of the White City. Tonight's episode, the truthful falsehoods of survival, brings to a close, for now, the existence and times of the Dolton coterie. Their decisions already made, decided. How they carry those actions out is anyone's guess. And so, we await for the arrival of the Dolton coterie, and we thank you for your time, your effort, and your energies. Why, hello. Hi there. Well, welcome, everybody. How we doing?
We're doing fine. We popped over to ask your opinion on something, but I guess I've the long haul.
Okay. Well, we've got a couple of minutes, as our usual soft start. What do we got? What's on the table? What's the agenda?
Benji, what was the question that we were gonna ask?
Don't ask about Klondike bars. I don't really like them. There's not much I would do for them.
No, I'd ask you about Toblerone, if anything.
Basically, as far as I'm aware, we've come to the opinion that we need to rethink Ollie and Haas's current situation. Haas, as it stands, is far too dependent and is not mentally engaged in the story because it seems to have gone on without him.
Okay.
And so we're trying to figure out what we want to do here and what your opinion is on this situation.
Interesting. A triumphant return amidst a death is always a good thing. We haven't actually had an on-screen death of a character save for Ian.
Gotta say, you forget somebody.
No, I did not forget someone. Ian was setting himself up much in a similar way as Saber, though Saber is going about it far more politically and attempting to use others. So whether Saber receives his just desserts or not is still up in the air. And the Molotov and his right-hand goon deciding to, on the surface, accept the Baroness's agreement and then mulling it over for a couple of nights and deciding, fuck that. We are not knuckling under. This anarch shit is for the birds, and going at the Baroness, showing what forces are actually hidden there and showing what the outcome might be, could be a good way to triumphantly blast back into immediate focus.
Okay. It'd be a way for, at the very least, to resolve the most current storyline with the two. In a very bombastic fashion.
Yeah. Not willing to knuckle under to the blood trade, the blood czar, i.e. Don Lombardi. Not willing to knuckle under to the Baroness. Believing that freedom trumps civil liberty. And while trying to pretend to be civilized, had its temporary benefits, the long haul of dealing with problematic neonates and dealing with the political ass end of the deal could very well be that last and final straw that sends them, you know what, the bullfrog is right. This shit is for the birds. There's no fucking reason. We should be the one calling the shots. We should be leading the pack that is these miscreant anarchs who don't know their fucking way.
Very much comes across as like, we tried this shit, and what did we end up with? We ended up responsible for a bunch of fucking fledglings that treat us like shit, with a boss who's threatening to kill us every 5 minutes.
Well, it was a bluff, but yeah. Welcome. How we doing?
Oh yeah, that's right. Dia, have we even fucking established what the plan is for tonight? Because I'm still operating off of we're about to have, murder at the disco.
The main target is still Silk. We're still going to try to figure out how to get her off.
Is there like
and take her out?
Is there like a 100% completion achievement for getting all the optional objectives as well?
Well, basically what we would have to do is if we're going to kill Decibel, we have to be able to kill him and not get killed ourselves because he packs heavy backup. So whatever method we are using to kill him has to be something pretty inescapable by him, basically. So there is pretty much either bringing the building down around them or luring the lupines there that he didn't make friends with and letting them have at it. Which we also should not be there for.
I think a particular biker gang would find a lot of fun in riding Harleys down the highway while lupines run behind them. Not beside them, after them.
But to answer your question more fully, we do not have an absolute plan. No.
Muy de precioso, because Louis is still very much on the yes, now is the eve of your rise, my boss. Now is the dawn of your ascension. Or the dusk of your ascension. Let us murder all of those who stand in your way.
Murder all of the hobos?
Let you murder all of them. I'm gonna just stay back here and take notes.
Well, if you're not the lead dog, the view never changes.
Exactly. And right now, the view that he has seen his compatriots getting is, well, it's pretty shitty. Some random fucking individual, some no one has the gall to walk into your place of business and declare war, all but stating those very words. Truly, no one fears you. That has to be changed. A show of force and a few unnamed tombstones is the best way to get people to realize you are not to be fucked with.
Basically what I think is going to happen is, depending on who we actually have show up tonight, I am going to re-condense the plan so that we all know what everybody's doing, and just go with the outline of what we had and just make details as we go, or what feels right. But be prepared that if it's the TPK, it's the motherfucking TPK.
Hey, alright, I have shown this party time and time again, I don't give a shit if my character dies. If it's part of the story, it's part of the story. The death of a character is never the end of a character. The end of a character is when they decide to hold up in the darkness and not do anything.
We got Muzan, yeah!
The Bonky Boys are here.
On a different note, though, because we are all in that same... What do you call it?
Coterie? Chronicle?
The Coast. Yes, Chronicle. Did Shriver get his letter?
He did. I haven't had a chance to really do much prompting over there, if you hadn't noticed. I was attempting to wrap up the Hunter game that we started and get that up. I had to split it into 3 parts, separating out the soft session 0, and then, as you see, that's processing a little slowly, but at least it's up there. Then the initial portion, and then the last portion, that leaves us on a small bit of a cliffhanger, an idea. Plus, I want to get time to actually give an actual response. I can crank out a bullshit ass letter and, it'll meet the requirements, but it won't be very well thought out. It'll be,
Nah. We went the good stuff.
Speaking of good stuff, I need to grab a drink and the last smoky treat before we get into what we're going to get into, and give you all a few moments to mingle amongst yourselves and come up with a potentially more finite plan, at least between Dia and Lewis, because, but most importantly, because there's a lot on the line. Let's just sum it up really briefly for you all. Lewis has managed to slip, slide, duck, dip, dodge, and dive around most of the pernicious aspects of the political landscape of Dolton for years. Now that he's entering into the spotlight of attention, it is just as filled with graft and criminality as every other aspect of the Chicagoland area. Making matters worse, now he's no longer a nameless shadow, so he can't easily fade from existence. He can no longer run into the dark unmolested. For Dia, for years upon years upon years, she has managed to coast and surf and crest the waves of the political upheavals that were happening all around her, protected by Nicole and by Geneva. With Prince Voivod Albu, that is no longer a viable consideration. And to add injury to insult, her supplier of trained donors is close enough to call in the debts already outstanding, as well as usurp her position as the most influential, i.e. the primogen of the Toreador of Dolton. And Gina has witnessed the death of the largest group of functioning pack of gang groups due to the machinations of the political structure of Dolton. No one has actively, successfully targeted the gang girl in such a concerted effort as Prince Voivod Albu. So those are the considerations that are easily before this coterie. You all can't slink back into anonymity. Doing so puts a scarlet letter on your backs. It makes you all moving targets, moving though you may end up doing, but still targets, your meat for the taking. You've fled from a political situation you all couldn't wrest victory from. And yeah, if you survive years, centuries, decades, maybe you'd be able to wash the stink of it off of you. But a finite completion is a mandatory in this situation, lest you take that scorn and potential victimizations. So, we are a little bit before hard start, so I'm going to go sneak away for the last smoky treat, grab my drinks, and I'll be back. I'll give you guys a few minutes to mingle amongst yourselves, come up with a working hypothesis, and we're going to dive in shortly thereafter. So see you guys in a few short moments.
Alrighty. If there is an active reason why he is bringing this other one in, and going to effectively name her Primogen, and I believe it's because he is thinking of Dia's name.
Well, here's what I'm thinking is going to happen. If we succeed in killing Silk, then if we can get it away with it, the chances are Decibel will still know that it's us, but can't prove it if we do it cleanly and successfully. Which, if we are able to do that, he might view that as a potential positive for us because, oh, they're actually, like, competent. Maybe I should keep my enemies closer.
A consideration here is that Decibel is a man who rules with an iron fist. Things must go his way because there is no other way for them to go. If you kill this Primogen elect, you are showing that you can make things go in a different direction.
That is definitely a possibility. My concern really, with like going after Decibel as well, is that we're biting off more than we can chew at once. Like, killing Silk is one thing, killing a prince is a whole other order of magnitude of a shitstorm.
I mean, it's entirely, like I said, entirely up to you guys. Y'all figure out how far you want, whether you're shooting at the clouds or at the stars. I will help you either way.
That was my point. Like, if we are going to take it, because I didn't say for sure that we want to do this, if we are going to take him on, we have to succeed. There is no fail. We either die or he dies. There is no in between. So we need to decide whether or not it's just Silk or whether we're willing to stick our necks out and fucking take him out. But then there's also the fact that this might be the only chance we have at taking the swing of him, because once Silk dies, he's gonna not let his guard down around us ever fucking again. Should we decide eventually that we want to take his ass out?
I vote for just killing Silk for now.
Here's the problem with that. The traditions.
We're violating a tradition no matter what we do here.
Right, but killing Silk means we're all blood hunted.
If we get caught. Which, knowing our luck, we probably will.
He's also the biggest part of the traditions, don't get caught.
Yes, the unnamed 7th tradition. Don't get caught. Which, when you really think about it, that's actually the first tradition, the masquerade.
It's something that we do have to keep in mind. Like, OOC, we know this. IC, we don't. Cat has promised that, like, to the biker gang that they will be taking a shot at the prince.
Cat, is this true?
You mean the whole 2 of them that are left?
Yeah, so like either
originally,
deal with it.
Originally the plan was she was trying to talk them down from the fence about attacking the prince when they were headed that way, and she gave them something else to do, which ended up with them being all but slaughtered by the Lupine pack that moved into the state, unbeknownst to the original Lupine pack that the prince made a deal with, which is part of this whole bullshit.
Alright, so, Kat, I interrupted you before. What is your full opinion about this? I want to hear it.
It's an all or nothing prospect, because if you kill one and it's not the prince, there's a blood hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So
either we move on both or we move on neither.
Okay.
Now, Kat don't care because she'll just hop on her bike and go somewhere else. But the rest of y'all are fucked.
Yeah, the thing is, for the rest of us, we can't afford to move on neither.
Is there any chance that we could upstage Silk like we did at the original at Decibel's original party, where we kind of like stole the thunder and just fucked off with like half the guests? If we could pull that off again, suggesting changing the entire plan, but
I feel like that's the point of this, which is why he gave us this time, is so we can figure out what the fuck we're doing, because we don't want to be second guessing ourselves when we start playing. So now would be that time to decide: are we willing to go soft core, just kind of, hey, look at us, fuck that bitch, we're the real party here, we're the real attention, you shouldn't be thinking about her, you should be worried about us? Or are we just gonna say fuck y'all and kill everybody?
And something to consider as well, last session you did pick up another organization as an enemy, so doing something softballing here, you are allowing your enemies to line up on every single one of your fronts. You need to clear the field a little bit.
So, Muzan...
Not necessarily enemy, but Muzan came back just as Vu brought, or Felix brought Miss Rossi to visit, and they made us an offer for the club, and Dia all but turned them down and said, fuck no, this is my place, I'm not giving it up.
I think you may have misremembered that a little bit. It wasn't an offer so much as a, do you want to do this the easy way or the hard way?
You see it as that. I saw it as I'm gonna give you this chance to take this money and leave, but I'm gonna probably end up with your shit either way.
You see, I likes you, and I want you.
Yeah,
that is exactly the phrase that I heard as she was speaking.
Muzan, as a character, I think would definitely be all for the killing plan, just because that's kind of who he is deep down. He's been trained and indoctrinated to be that way. So, if you guys decide to kill, Muzan is all for killing anyone and everyone. Out of character, I'm still for killing Silk, but Kat did bring up a good point that there would be a blood hunt on us if we get caught.
Yeah. So, last session, towards the end, I thought we were all in agreement. Bonk the homies, but I believe, as I said, I'll leave it up to you guys, because you've been running this way longer. Emotionally, you've got far more investment in this. I don't want to make a decision for you all that will end up in just fucking total anarchy and chaos and fire and so, between the three of you, one has stated all or nothing. You don't want to kill Decibel, but you do want to kill the bitch, right?
Yes.
But you, as far as I'm aware, you do understand if we do kill her, we're probably gonna have to kill Decibel.
Yes.
Alright. And Dia is on team kill the bitch. What are your stances on Decibel?
The fact of the matter is, like I said, I don't think we can get away with just killing Silk and not take him out too.
Right, because, so we're all in
agreement. As Kat pointed out, and we already know, he's not going to just let that sit. We're going to have to take him out too.
So, now that we are once again on the same boat, how do we do this? I'm for the good old-fashioned, accident on the party dress. She goes to her, as I said, goes to her changing room and then gets jumped by a bunch of Nosferatu. I'm all for that, just to get rid of her. But how do we plan on taking care of Decibel? We could lure the Lycan, or the Lupines. That's an option, but that's a very chaotic element, and chaos leads to shaky results.
Yeah, because they could very well turn around on us and they just attack us anyway.
So, it's get some traction on this. What was your thought?
Remember? Okay, so the point was he made a deal with the ones at a specific part.
Okay.
Kat was there for that. And that was what we were mad about, the fact that he's making deals with the Lupines. But what if we went to those Lupines that he made a deal with and told them, there's interlopers. They just attacked a whole bunch of people. We let the prince know, but he said he wasn't worried about it. But they could be coming for your spot and get them involved.
I'm sorry, you want to try to negotiate with Lupines? This just keeps getting more suicidal by the second.
Not negotiate. Point out, hey, so there's other Lupines, and they're fitting to come take your shit, and the prince is backing them. This is where the prince is going to be tonight.
I think getting the first 3 words of that out is going to be a difficult task, Dia.
Plus, there's the other side of the coin, which is that if we let the Lupines kill him, then we don't get to get his blood.
Oh, you want to drain the mother... Ooh, you're dirty!
Oh, I'm sorry, did I say the quiet part out loud? My bad.
A little bit, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm pretty sure I could get up. Nobu, can I get a hold of a bomb?
Short notice? Maybe.
don't know. I wasn't here last week, so I'm not sure what's driving all this, but I do know that the whole entire thing sounds extremely suicidal, and Kat cannot get behind that because she is a survivor.
Okay, so we did not actually get to tell you what happened. So while you were away, I'm going to try to make this a short, because I know we got to start. But, so what happened was Luzon made it back with half of the Nosferatu he went to originally, free from sleep, after major bullshit and magic problems happened, and now we have 5 Nosferatu and Luzon. Or am I mistaking the count here? 5 Nosferatu and Luzon, one of which has been dead since like the 1800s or something like that. So he's fairly old. What happened was, right as that was all going on, Sophia, Rossi, and Felix wandered into the bar and said, "This is Miss Rossi. She wants to buy your bar from you. She has an offer." And we sat down and talked, and she's basically like, "Hey, look, I want to move into this area. I feel like this is a fair offer. Either you take this or not, but I will probably have your place one way or another. So this is your offer to get paid fairly for it and leave. You can go wherever you want, but I want your place." Dia told her no, and Felix and Rossi left, but they were smirking about it, and then we started feeling weird, like there was some sort of thing left behind. We haven't quite gotten to that part yet, but we're all starting to kind of notice there was something off about how she left. In the course of that, right after she left, Dia had gotten tired of this, like, I'm tired of people trying to take shit from me. And Lewis pointed out, well, you know, we have extra hands now. We have these Nosferatu. Why don't we do something about the silk person? And it became you know what, you're right. Now, this would be the perfect time to take out Silk, because I'm so sick of the way she comes in here and she's trying to take everything over. I'm tired of people trying to take everything from me. This is a good plan. And then it was like, well, shit, if we're going to take Silk out, well, why don't we take the Prince out too? Hey, he's going to be at the party. This would be the perfect time to do this. And then it snowballs from there. So that's pretty much catching you up.
Yeah, it all still sounds suicidal. It's a political problem, and you're going to kill yourselves over it.
I mean, do you have another solution beyond "fuck you guys, I'm out"?
No, that works for her. I mean, none of you. Politics is the way to solve it, but Kat's not political, so.
Yep. Okay. Dia, politically, how would you solve this?
We tried politics last time. We tried to be nice, but I honestly don't know. Like, I swear to you, I wish I knew. Like, me as a person, as a player, I have no clue how we would solve this politically, besides ass kissing, and Dia's not finna do it. She sees Silk taking liberties and her spot. She's fought to keep the Pesketeers against everything else that's happened. This feels like a fuck you from Silk to her, and the Prince to her. So she's kind of at that point of, oh, fuck me, well, fuck you.
Alright, well, we're getting dangerously close to 9 o'clock my time. What are we gonna do? I'm happy to go along with whatever.
There is no wrong answer.
Mm-hmm. Inaction is the only wrong answer.
Don't you mean there are no right answers?
No, there's always a right answer, because at the end of the day, just philosophically approaching this situation, not that I have a better solution, not that I have a worse solution. The end of the day, the victor determines everything that came before it. What you are battling, what you are facing, how you face it is for the right of determining what was correct. Whoever is left standing after all the dust settles determines the tale that is told. If you all are successful politically, you get to couch your present or future successes as the past proving you correct. You spread that word amongst the people. If you attack this physically and less socially violently, and you are the last left standing, you get to prove to every eye and ear listening to the situation that all of your decisions leading up to this point were in fact the correct course. So whatever you all decide, so long as you hold the road and prove successful, you're right. And that's one of the many downsides to you all these characters existing in this world. The persons, the beings, the entities that have been right and proven correct, oftentimes every step of the way are violently, socially, mentally, and emotionally abusive to every single solitary thing. Now, the aspect that weighs heaviest, because we are playing the game, is unlike TV, unlike movies, unlike reading a novel, we don't get to zoom in and dance in the character's head. So everything is going to be bigger, brighter. There's going to be things that NPCs and SPCs in the world at large latch onto because that's what's visible, not the intentions behind it. So what tale, what story would you all like these characters to tell?
Yep.
Survival.
Well, there's a very easy way to survive, and it unfortunately resolves, I would say, none of your problems and yet all of your problems. And it involves doing exactly what Kat's talking about, which is basically just picking up shit and hitting brick.
Yeah, I guess in a way that would be the simplest solution. Call Rossi back and like, you know what, never mind. Come take this place, you gotta deal with the problems.
But is that a fulfilling ending? I am always here for helping the peoples out. I will stop being the dark whispers in your ears and let you choose your path. I'm here to help.
So, trusting your own counsel, whatever those are, whatever that is, whether it is the darkest angel on your shoulder or the brightest demon whispering in your ear, at the end of the day, just because a thing is decided doesn't mean that is what happens. Just because we envision a happily never after for these characters does not mean that that's what happens. It has been a long time coming getting to this point. It has been a uphill climb in nearly every direction. This coterie, in one shape, fashion, or form, has managed to outlast, outrun, outfight most things they have come across. And what that means is that there are a lot of hungry eyes out there in the darkness watching them. Even Kat, who is the most recent addition to this starring coterie, while not as big a name as some of the coteries in larger cities such as Chicago, New York, LA, Miami, New Orleans, they have managed to change the fabric of the political system here in Dolton. Their actions and inactions, their choices and decisions has helped move Dolton from a colony of the capital city of the Camarilla, Chicago, masquerading as an independent state, to becoming an actual independent state, to becoming fully 100% an outcropping of the tower, a forward position, a fort in the wilderness against the wild. Their decisions, their choices and their consequences have created enemies, some allies, and made allies of enemies and enemies of allies, leading to this moment. So just putting it out there, yes. If you had the opportunity to have planned further ahead, or there's a later engagement where both parties will be there, yes. A direct physical assault that is overwhelming and awe-inspiring, or a subtle political attempt at stealing back the power that is slipping through their fingers. All of those are viable courses. And without further ado, allow me all to thank you all for being here, for getting us all to this point, for bringing us to this cliff's edge, this tense moment with this coterie and these characters. As always, so that you all know, my thanks of your time, your effort, and your energies is eternal. I don't think these past 2 years could have been any more enjoyable. I don't think that there would have been any high points, low points, and all those many ups and downs that these characters and the others that we've played have brought to my life. Thank you, thank you, and thank you. But we are a little well past fashionably late. Our hard start has slipped past us, and this, without a shadow of a doubt, is In the Shadow of the White City. This is the season finale and potential series finale for now. The Truthful Falsehoods of Survival. When we last stepped away, as we've been discussing, the coterie has more or less had enough. The pressures have mounted above their eye line. The molehills of petty annoyances and pratfalls of indecisions have mounted until the walls themselves feel as if they are closing in. There is a rash, slim, vibrant opportunity to carry out a most perniciously evil attack on the Prince of Dolton. There is also the action of assaulting and destroying the would-be, soon-to-be primogen of the Toreador of the United Township of Thornton. Not just Dolton, but the entirety of the domain that falls under Prince Voivod Albu's control. Lucio, fresh from an impossible mission, with 3 additional Nosferatu of legend for the most part, because they've been forgotten by time and stored away as a doomsday failsafe, a ravenous army of overly strong, overly ravenous monsters to unleash on whoever was attempting to usurp the authority of Dolton. A doomsday button brought back into life. Katarzyna, returning from their travails out there in the night, realizing that the coterie had been pushed to its limit, and the considerations of literally hopping on their bike and driving away, leaving these kindred behind, having not found the kindred that they were hoping to find, to build the empire they were hoping and know it's viable in the area. And Lewis, fresh out of places to run, having holed up here as a safety net against the world, now realizing that there's more going on than has ever met the eye. And of course, Concordia, the child of the former highest ranking, highest prestiged Toreador, lover of the former prince-elect of the region, and now the owner and proprietor of the main vein of the entertainment in the south suburbs. Decisions, questions, and ideas sitting before them. The pressure, again, there's no way to highlight it more than it has grown to the point where the walls feel as if they are attempting to strangle you in the most painful of bear hugs, to smother and squeeze the life from you. So we pick up moments later. Decisions, assumptions, allegations, ideas, plans, and what have you laying before the coterie. And as ever, the question is always, what now?
Has she made it back inside, or like when did she show up? Did she see Rossi leave, or are we still sitting here feeling this weird feeling?
Yeah, you guys have seen Rossi leave. You all have a small moment of respite.
Feels like that might have been a mistake. But at the same time, this is my place of business, and I wish to give it up willingly. Though maybe there could have been a way to use her to get rid of our other enemies. I still think they both need to die. I would very much like for Silk and Prince Aldo not to exist. And while I am appreciative of the fact that we have more Nosferatu, and you all are your own tank-like team, will it be enough? Will these four and you move on, who I trust implicitly, be enough to do all we need to do to make sure that she does not take my place from me?
It'll have to be.
There's so many ways this can go wrong, you realize that?
I'm aware.
I'm tired of running. I can't anymore. I can't run any longer. I was forced into this position, and now I must take the reins and do what I must. At the same time, I wish we had even one other ally besides ourselves.
I don't know how much help it can be, but I can see if I can ask around. I might have some connections to some human gangs, but I can also see if I can ask around, see if any of these guys know someone who owes them.
Has anybody seen Dan?
He was waiting back with the other Nosses, I think.
I don't know. He tends to disappear fairly easily.
Not for naught, but he is a Nosferatu, right?
Yes, he is.
So disappearing fairly easily it's in the name.
Is that what Nosferatu means in another language?
Sorry, just please ignore me. I'm just blurting things. little bit nervous is all.
I was also, I think, going to do. I think Dia has sense the unseen. Hold on. By dint of being able to turn invisible, does that automatically they would see other invisible people?
No, unfortunately.
Ships passing in the night.
How much time do we have to prepare for this event?
Roughly an hour.
Shit.
At the outside.
Dia does have some CNC, and she is going to do a quick scan for both the missing Nosferatu / Dan and or anything she feels like might have been left behind by Miss Rossi, knowing good and darn well that she's part Hakata.
So you're attempting to use Sense the Unseen?
Correct.
Well, that being the case, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your Resolve plus Aspects.
Double checking here. The Hikata family just south of the township is the Castigliones, yes?
It was.
Yes.
It was. Alright. Thank you.
You are perfectly, securely, without any unseen presences in your immediate vicinity.
Like I was attempting to say, as we're glancing around a bit, I'm gonna look closer. I know she meant it as an all or nothing, that Miss Rossi, but perhaps, maybe she would accept a partnership for helping us to see if we can get rid of one of our problems, or both of them. Seeing as how they would become her problems should she take over here.
So the idea is to convince someone who is about to very aggressively acquire your assets that potentially you could share said assets and they could help you dig a thorn out of your side.
By getting rid of it for themselves, because they would also have to deal with said thorn later.
Okay.
Technically, the Hakata can't interfere with our business.
Well, officially anyways.
So it's not like she could do our dirty work for us.
Did she seem all that much like she was one of those people that followed rules?
No, not at all. Also, where the hell is Kat? She's been gone for a while.
Quietly listening to you all.
Dear God, you are way too quiet for someone your size.
I've been trying to explain that to you for the past day. Alright, I'm just going to get out my ledger then and look through my contacts, and once we settle on what we're going to do, I'll ring up the appropriate people.
Yeah, you're the boss. You call the shots. You want to kill them both? we'll do it. Even if we only have, Amazon looks at the clock, an hour-ish to prepare.
He's saying this to Dia?
Yes.
Okay.
Is kill who?
This uppity toreador named Silk and, the prince.
You want to kill Prince?
No, Prince is already dead. We want to kill the prince.
Will be daylight soon, sounds easier.
I take that to mean that you feel like we are going on a ill-fated suicide mission should we attempt to kill both.
You saw what happened last time someone tried. They weren't even close enough to get their dust on him.
That thought is quite sobering. Where the fuck is Dan?
You want me to go get him?
Why would you go get me?
Ah, there you are. You got any thoughts on this?
Several hundred, actually. Not for nothing.
Share the most important 5.
Not for nothing. Geneva and, our former Primogen senator locked the bulk of us out of politics so that there was only one voice, and the others either marched along or they disappeared. There's a reason for that. And not having dealt with Decibel by allying him with us and our intentions created the opportunity for Silk to be able to move in whenever she wanted, because shit's going to hell over there in Gary. That's 2. Both at once there. 3. The end all be all is either we in or either we out. Either way, tomorrow's gonna happen whether we want it to or not. 4. I don't know about you, but they got a fighting club fucking in Homewood under this Decibel's character. A fighting club for Kindred. That's not something you just do overnight. That's not something that just pops up. And number 4A. Silk indebted us to her in preparation so she has a way out of what was going on over there in fucking Gary. And 4B. Dia, you're the fucking boss. You tell us to do something, and as long as my man here, as long as says that's what we're doing, Muzan tells us that's what we're doing, that's what we're fucking doing. We can grouse or we can leave. We all got our choices. No one is forcing any of us to be here. Not truly. I can leave whenever I fucking want. But I kind of like Muzan. I kind of like you. I kind of would like to continue existing here. And if this shit fails, I will continue existing somewhere else. But at least I gotta give it a shot. And point 5. The most important thing besides us being here by fucking choice. We can sit around and stare at each other's navel, reach across the table and verbally stroke ourselves off. But at the end of the day, at the end of the night, after everything shakes loose, well, we gotta do something. Because perfectly honest, it's fucking boring staring into a mirror and seeing this mug I got. I don't know about you. You may enjoy it, but I don't really enjoy looking into a fucking mirror. And right now, all of these words, all of these long ideas and plans are bouncing off the wall. We don't control what fate decides for us. We only decide whether we're going to play or not. Or we're going to let the game play past us. So doing something is all we have a choice of. But that's my 2 cents. It's not like we have 2 angry gangrel bikers, 3 additional Nosferatu, your friends and associates from both the Pisketeers as well as the, what is that, the Rosie 2, Rosie 3.5, Rosie Square, whatever that is. And then he pauses and looks at Lewis. A bunch of low down dirty motherfuckers willing to do almost anything to get something accomplished. This guy swam through pond water to get the maps so that we can find what these others was hidden. We have tools and just need to do something, and that, whether we like it or not, is the Kindred way. The top kick tells us what we need to do, what we need to accomplish, and we either succeed or we fail. You saw how well fucking democracy worked out for Geneva, right?
Calmly flipping through the ledger, page after page, a small smirk at the mention of what exactly happened in the past.
Takes a very deep and necessary, but feeling necessary. Right. You are absolutely correct, as per usual. Dan, thank you. With that being said, moonlight is burning. We need to look our absolute fucking best. Come success or funeral, as it were. She looks to Kat. I do not wish for you to do anything you do not wish to do. We are going to do this evening, and now would be the time to get out. So that you can claim no further knowledge of what we are about to do. But I, personally, am tired of being pushed around and being stepped on. By her, specifically, and him, at large. So we are going to take them both out this evening, or fucking die trying. Does that sound like enough of a plan for you all?
Sounds like enough to me.
Broad strokes, but yeah, it'll work.
Cat will nod and then head for the door. Not of respect, not of agreement.
Lovely meeting you.
Take care.
So then, beyond the resources, so beautifully laid out in front of us. Anything else that we can call upon, or shall I just get to work?
You can get to work. I can drop a few leads to one of my old human associates and see if he takes the bait to send some folks to the place to cause a distraction.
Okay. So we're wanting to do this loud, or we're wanting to do this quiet?
Well, in every meal there is always an appetizer, and that would be silk. Our main course, and probably our big finish, will have to be Decibel. Destruction will have to be absolute.
Okay.
So however loudly you can make that happen, do so. I have some things I need to tie up before we do this, in case it all goes sideways, which almost always often does. But I want to make sure that the Rosies and the Pescatarians are protected.
Alright. Now, which of the two potential targets do you want me to focus on? Decibel or the Primogen debate?
Decibel is the bigger problem.
Alright, then I will
So,
put my efforts towards them.
I feel like we have more than enough people to overwhelm, potentially. And she looks towards Nosferatu and Buzan.
The way I see it, my associates and I can do a couple things, but obviously we're best at the infiltration, so do you want us handling Silk or do you want us handling Decibel?
Silk. She needs to be an element of surprise, so the Nosferatu are better suited for such.
Alright. You're gonna have to get her in a nice quiet place for us, though.
I will do my absolute best to lure her. Yes.
Okay. So why don't you all put your heads together to finalize how you're going about it. Over the last few nights, there have been growing concerns. There have been mounting pressure, one step after the next. And at the end of the day, sometimes there's not enough connection to be willing to put everything on the line and roll those dice. And that's exactly where Kat finds himself. That's exactly where Gina, with her newfound pack of two, finds herself. This city, these kindred, this would-be conquering emperor of the south, this voivode masquerading as a prince, is a force too high, too much of an investment and potential for failure to engage. While it is not the stereotypical entropy understanding of what a gangrel is or could be, it is very much in her presence, in her summation, to always look for the back door. To always find a way to outlast, outrun, and out-exist any of the many problems along the way. So as the sound of her motorcycle acts as a howl in the night, a roar, alerting her two associates, what is it that Kat explains or doesn't explain to her newly found and slowly forming pack?
That there's nothing but death here because the people that she's been associating with up until this point are making a hasty knee-jerk attempt to kill the prince.
And is there a destination in mind in regards to, or is it just scramble for the hills, as she explains, this place is dead, the hasty attack on Prince?
The road leads where it leads.
It does indeed. Dolton, Thornton Township, the south suburbs, the contiguous suburbs of Chicago, are phenomenally placed in regards to passing through. To the east, of course, is 94, from which you can connect with the 294, which will take you all the way over to the 57, or it'll take you all the way east as far as you want to go, to the 65 or to the 41. All major thoroughfares through the Midwest and all the way up east as far as it goes. But, and unbeknownst to most, or unutilized by most, is Highway 1, which is Halsted, which is due west of where you are. Getting over to Halsted, i.e. Highway 1, you're able to tour slowly through the backcountry. It'll take you down through Chicago Heights and Stager and Crete and Goodenough and Beecher, and before you know it, you will be in the land of nothing but flat, rolling nothingness, going on in every sight line towards every horizon, east, west, and even back north if you so chose. But taking Highway 1 is a good way to allow the stench and responsibility of being bound to another soul to drift and roll off of any considerations of loyalty and pack association. You have your pack. These two would-be conquerors of the road, these fellow outlanders surfing the edges of society. And with nary a look back, the choice is made. Nary a consideration, the choice is made. Better to exist as a tail and a scent on the wind than to have skin in the game. And while Kat and her pack of two disappear in a puff of smoke and a roar of American know-how and ingenuity, down Highway 1, disappearing into the farmlands and wilds of Illinois, Muzan, would you be so kind as to... You're going to combine all of your roles into one. How many dots of contacts do you have?
3.
Excellent. That's always a good start. How many dots of leadership do you have?
It can be 1 if you let me spend 3 XP on it right now.
Okay, let's go with 1. We'll be kind. Go ahead, denote the XP expenditure. And then
I feel like it's kind of now or never.
And then is he attempting to manipulate the truths to come out a certain vantage point, or is he letting the full weight of his personality and the simple stated truth carry the message?
He's manipulating it a little bit.
Okay. Well, there we have it. Would you be so kind as to roll your manipulation plus 4? As high as you possibly can.
Roll.
All right. And Lewis, in your reaching out to contacts and allies, we're going to combine those two. And again, the consideration is much the same. Does Lewis have any leadership?
No leadership, no.
Okay. And
I do have the ability to lie to people, though.
And that being the case, would you be so kind to go ahead? I'm taking. He's not going to use the strength of his personality, but he is definitely going to bend, break, shatter, and reassemble the truth into whatever form he feels might be most effective.
Yeah, guys, don't worry. We've got this all under control. We've got outside backing that'll make sure once everything is nice and clear, it doesn't come back on us. No one will know that you all were even there, really. It'll just be one big accident on the news.
All right. Be so kind as to go ahead and roll that manipulation with the combined aspects of your allies and contacts. And of course, it's including your side hustler aspect as well.
Okay, so 9 dice here.
That's all. You're probably gonna need more, but let's see what happens.
Will my retainer count into my list of contacts and allies?
No.
Damn, violence. And I assume I can't rouse this since it's a long-term roll.
Correct.
Alright, let's see. 9, 0, and we're just gonna roll for the highest. Praise Stan, and here we go. Am I able to throw some willpower at this thing?
Willpower? Yes. Rouse?
Nice.
No. And
Alright, there we go.
And Dia, waiting on your steps as they were.
Alright, kids. This is going to be bombastic. What are you talking about? Yeah, no, the prince ain't even there. Don't worry about it. No, we're just taking down some low-tier kindred.
Okay. Deal. That being the case, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your charisma with your leadership or your persuasion and add your contacts and allies.
Okay, I got charisma plus leadership or persuasion, and what?
Your contacts and allies.
Okay, contacts. Let's see. What does we have? About 9 die. Okay.
Hell yeah, let's go! Slap that bitch! Get it, Nia, get it!
No. One. You said this doesn't get a roll power.
No,
You
can't use willpower.
You just can't rouse.
Correct.
Oh, really? You can't?
You can use willpower, but you can't rouse.
Yeah, there you go. I might suggest. There you go.
No,
Okay, we're good.
you don't need willpower. It's fine. It's fine. You didn't need willpower.
It's better than nothing. It's better than nothing.
11 is all right.
Did you click the wrong thing there, Dia?
Max crits? Yeah,
No,
it's
it's still considered a willpower roll.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. And fate says,
We've got this, boys.
3 minus
No possible way this could go wrong.
3 minus, and the average hunger is 3, 1, and 1. So 2. Difficulty is all right. What does fate say in the grand scheme of things? So there's an understanding and an aphorism that man plans, God laughs, making all sorts of careful considerations of where we are and planning on what's going to happen tomorrow and the day after, there will always be a monkey wrench, and several of them thrown in our paths to prove how much it is that we want a thing. What are we willing to risk to achieve our goals? What skin are we willing to put into the game?
Okay.
And while Dia settles in finalizing financial plans for the future, and while several loving consideration are made, caretakers assigned, and lasting goodbyes made. If I don't see you again, if the worst should happen, and for Dia in the moment, the worst that can and would happen would be in not standing up to the pressures attempting to bend their spine, to the pressures attempting to force them to bend the knee, to bow the head, to accept willingly the lash and the leash. While D is making all of those plans and making those prognostications as to what will happen and what should happen, what is determined if it goes bad, Lewis connects with one person after the next. And the most unsettling sound that any kindred has ever heard. Because while not able to get huge amounts or any amount of actual explosives, as he waits at the side door of the Pisketeers, the very unnerving sound of glass clinking against glass, several score, a baker's dozen of glass bombarding itself, clinking and clinking and clinking and clinking and clinking, as this raggedy Econoline van from 1981, which is more rust than metal, bondoed and scrape painted into place and barely held together, comes rattling to a stop amidst all of the clinking glass. And while normally there would be a what the absolute, he doesn't have the time to do so, because as the van careens to a stop, kicking up a dust of rust thrown off of the vehicle, the back doors swing open, and crate after crate after crate of personally decanted high octane fuel and alcohol stuffed with various rags, smelling exactly of a gas station that was too drunk to spill any of the E85 gas out onto the next Prius, and several individuals that he would prefer to have not admitted it knowing step out. Alright, Lou, so we're finally gonna kick these Castiglione bastards' asses. They ran my boys out of Chicago. I'm not gonna let that shit happen here for you, man. Oh my god. And Kindred don't need to bathe. They don't have any of the bacteria, any of the sweat. They don't have any of the things that connect the living to themselves, the stench, the stains, or any of that. Yet these horribly, offensively perspired, stained, and you would swear drunk, although you know Kindred cannot actually get drunk, step out. Their shirts looks, well, gray, a brownish gray, with white streaks as if it was tie-dyed brown and various colors of chalk. But you realize that no, that's sweat. That's honest to goodness sweat. And Lewis realizes why he keeps the wide circles that he does, because it does include, more often than not, thin bloods, dustborns, the outcasts, those invisible members of society that Kindred look over, step on, and otherwise utilize. In this moment, their sheer insanity and their avarice for getting their pound of flesh is obvious. While we, the viewers, taking a look at this horribly unkempt scene, recognize these faces from having assaulted or attempted to assault the Harris Varro shelter. We recognize these faces from having taken part in assisting the Gary coterie before Mason's death. We recognize these faces as hangers-on and would-be members of the Children of Dusk who learned at the hands of Sylvia. And we would also recognize that their crates of destruction have been decanted from previously used bottles of brew. Various blood wines and beers purchased and made various places across the Midwest. Drunken whole, gorged and guzzled, and refilled with the most impressively disgusting mix of actual grain, alcohol, and fuel. Their attempt to make liquid Greek fire, their alchemy providing one of the more volatile, destructive options possible. And less than 20 feet away inside the Piscateers, as Muzan manages to reach the hearts and minds of those freshly risen Nosferatu and beat them into a frothy lather, to get them understanding the insult and inhumanity that's been visited upon Dia, their vicarious savior, because he has pledged himself and them to her cause. To get back the power that was stolen from them, to get back the agency that they've lost by being tortured as long as they have, being kept as a doomsday weapon, a mutually assured destruction should any enemies come to Dolton. The time is now. And they pour themselves to incepting their way into Silk's newest venture. It's very cliche that most expect Kindred to leap from rooftop to rooftop, or to slither through the drains and rise through the basement and lower levels of a building. That is exactly not what happens. They use their prodigious strength and their near invisibility, and they climb the facade, some sneaking in through the second floor, some sneaking in through the back door, others, well, it's best not to imagine what happens to some of the caterers who are attempting to fulfill the needs of the Kindred gathering on site. And as everything is nearly in place, it is in fact 46 after the hour. Let's take a quick 10-minute and be back at 56 after.
ladies and gentlemen? I think the fact that we just barely beat the DC there, or rather they just barely failed it, is very telling and is very poetic.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. The lovely thing about writing something down without really understanding the implications of what you wrote down, and then having the ST later on give you the nitty-gritty details, is you get wonderfully surprised by all the people that your character knows. When I wrote, the Down and Out Club, I didn't expect this down and out.
Alright, folks, welcome back.
Hello.
Alright, so.
Aloha.
Aloha. Aloha means family!
I think you just barely missed me saying this to everybody, but I found the fact that it was like a near miss on their part for the DC that we had said to be very poetic. Scraping by the edge of our seats.
I like that aspect as a lot. Your fate is on your side and in your corner, it seems. Let's see what that actually means. So, Dia, you back? Alright, so Muzan, we know that tomorrow will be here far sooner than it needs to be, so we're going to start with you. With the Nosferatu Incepted, Dan, of course, acting as your relay to them there on
back. I don't know what the heck that was.
With Dan acting as the relay between you and those Incepted Nosferatu on the premises, what exactly, if you have that mapped out, are their actual orders, besides being present, caught up, and excited to carry out whatever this action may turn out to be?
Okay, I'm just gonna give this in broad strokes, because I think that would just be the easiest way to handle this. One of them has to handle security, so they have to infiltrate the security area so that no one gets alerted that, oh hey, there's like a bunch of Nosferatu running around on the cameras. One of them has to be there to make sure that that doesn't happen, and also to give us eyes on where people are moving and if there's any danger. The others, at least one, preferably two, should be mingling in the party in order to actually... Everything good? I heard someone leave.
Yep, go on.
Okay. At least two of them should be within the party to actually like mingle and keep eyes on Silk. Since Dia said that the primary target for the Nosferatu will be Silk, that's what we're going to focus on right now. Okay. I'm going to give one of them the bottle of brew that one Wong Kwai made out of either Zack or Frost. The plan is for them to spill that drink onto Silk. That way one of two things happens. One, everyone nearby frenzies and attacks her and our hands are clean. Two, they don't, she goes to change, and Muzan and one other kindred, one other Nosferatu at least, will be waiting for her in her room or tailing her in the hallways in Unseen Passage to assassinate her when she's by herself.
Okay. That is a...
It's a plan. It's not a good one, but it's the first thing that came to mind.
Okay. So...
If we're lucky, she's one of those ones that likes to have private dinners and may or may not have a soundproofed dressing room.
Alright, so...
I'm literally banking on the fact that she would be like one of those vain enough people to just have like a private place where no one can see her, where she would prefer to change.
Yeah.
I'm banking on that, but of course if she takes someone to like accompany her, well, that's what the second Nosferatu's for.
Alright, so with time being short, and I know that tomorrow's going to come a lot sooner than it needs to for you, what I'm going to have you do, we're going to make 3 rolls which will be held in stasis for a little bit. Your first roll, of course, is the incepting of the plan into place and accomplishing taking care of security and blending in with the crowd to the invisibility of those who are floating around. So that's going to be we're going to use Muzan's stats here, and we're going to add and subtract to account for the other Nosferatu. Would you be so kind as to roll your composure plus obfuscate, and we're going to use your stealth as the bonus afterwards. And
so composure, obfuscate, and stealth, right?
Don't add the stealth, we're going to add that afterwards, but composure and obfuscate, and then we're going to add the stealth as a bonus.
Okay.
So when you make that roll, go ahead and notate that as the stealth roll. Then you're going to roll for the attempt to stain and otherwise during the course of the party, and we're going to use Muzan stats for that as well. You're going to go ahead and roll your dexterity plus subterfuge for that one, and we're going to set that aside.
So I just made the stealth roll. For the record keeping, Muzan's stealth is 3, and he has a specialty in ambushes. I don't know if that would apply in this case.
Gotcha. Well in hand.
Alright, what was the second roll?
You're going to roll your dexterity and subterfuge.
Dexterity and subterfuge. Okay.
Alright.
Comment. Dex plus sub. And I just saw the result of the previous roll. Am I allowed to use willpower on that now or no?
No. We're just going to account for the flat effect.
Okay. And then any bonuses to this one or no?
No, but it sets the target for your potential. And then lastly but not leastly, how successful were they when taking care of the actual security? And that's going to be your strength plus brawl, plus if you have any other disciplines that may actually be a factor.
Muzan has a lot of disciplines that would be a factor here. Okay, strength is 4, brawl is 3.
Those were scary.
Potence, would that count?
They're not all mortal, but yeah, we'll go ahead and, because I'm taking into your thinking of prowess and lethal body.
I have soaringly prowess and uncanny grip in potence.
Okay. So no, just strength and brawl. We'll give you a bonus for you. And you did say there were 2 that were attempting to take care of security, correct?
Yes. I do also have celerity, but that's Cat's Grace, so that's all I have in that. Protean, feral weapons.
Alright, sounds like a plan. Do you go ahead and roll strength plus brawl?
Alright, strength plus brawl is 7, 3, 0. Comment. Strength plus brawl. I would like to use willpower if I can. Or not.
Yes, go ahead.
Lovely.
Man plans, God laughs.
Okay, that's a message to me, I think. All right, let's just continue on, shall we?
All right. So now that we have those marked off, back at the Pisketeers, when Dia said she was getting everyone ready after taking care of her personal business, her private business, how is she doing that?
What do you mean, getting everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
Whoever's going in with her as space.
Who is that?
We're here. Cat's gone, so we can't take that. Actually, Dan. She's gonna ask Dan to be her date and her +1 because Muzan's sneaking around. And then the other envelope that was going to go to Cat is going to go to Lewis.
Oh, I get to be in the building?
Yeah.
Fun.
Unless he has to be outside for some reason, but if he can go with her, she's going to take Lewis and Dan with her.
I can technically go inside. That'll work. It'll be fun.
So whoever she's taking as her dates on her arm, she is going to make sure that they look magnificent, chef kiss. Even though Dan tends to do plain face when he's out and about. You know, GQ model could have just walked off the stage, suit. Because if we're going out, we're going out looking fucking spectacular and making jaws drops in this bitch.
I'm certain when they see a Nosferatu on their arm, some jaws will drop.
Oh, that's the point. We're going with that. Originally, she was going to walk in with Muzan, but Muzan has better shit to do. So...
Muzan got business to handle.
So picture... navel... length... V... cuts... evening gown... looking like she maybe ripped the moon out of the sky and put it on her body in pure white. First stole... she's gonna wear her white booties, the one she can still run in, because she knows there will be running at some point this evening. There's a split in the dress showing off all that thigh. Hair is looking pulled together, piled on top of her head in gloriously glossy loops. She looks like $1 million, basically.
Okay. So that being the case, would you be so kind as to roll your manipulation and performance with it, and what level of presence do you have, and are you using it?
I have 3 dots in all, and yes, baby, we walking in, all eyes on me.
Okay. So first things first, we're going to do the manipulation plus your performance with your awe in place, adding to your attempt to sway and awe the crowd into submission. Because it is exactly what it seems like. It is a place to be seen, to impress upon the gathered body politic that you all, that every kindred that walked through that door matters. Now, Silks isn't exactly small time. Let's just call it what it is. While her Salacious is a well-known place of power. It is a hyper-sexualized and centralized version of what the Piscator was underneath Nicole. The outside was purposefully off-putting so that the crowd and the regulars and those who understood what Salacious was would have the fullness of being able to be kindred, to be home in their own, to have a home in their own faces, to be the thing that they were meant to be, monsters, seeking every vice and every opportunity of being monsters. Not an easy thing to do, to pull off, and yet somehow Silk has done that plus. Let's just call it what it was. While Salacious is, well, salacious. It leaves an impression in the mind. This place is all of that and then some. The ostentatious outside is designed to pull people in, unlike Salacious, which was off-putting and was designed to make sure that everyone knew to kind of sort of stay away, and people would question why you were going there. The mortals avoided the place. Her place here is designed to attract the eye. There's glass and mirror and jewelry. It makes people say, oh my god, what is that? It is a 3-story building in a place where, in the suburbs, where 2 stories might as well be palatial. It takes up the entire corner. It is the siren song that will have untrained donors falling into the place by the boatload. When you all arrive, it is exactly what it seems. It's a shot across the bow. It is designed purposefully to antagonize any toreador that felt that they had a place of prominence. Just like Prince Voivod Albu's actual castle that he operates from, is a testament to their strength and their intention. Chiffon, as it's named, is very much a mecca of sorts. It is very much the center of the world as far as the Toreador are concerned. Taking up the entire corner of Edbrook and making itself known. It is an easy off from 83 Sibley Boulevard there at Edbrook, and it takes up the entirety of that space. The Pennzoil lot that was there and had been there for generations being turned into a place where you can get the loving attention for your vehicle while you party away your life inside of Chiffon. To say that this is a place where royalty would feel slightly out of place would be an understatement. There are valets, there are a police cordon of the area as you make that right off of Sibley onto Edbrook to move into the lot. They're checking not only how many people are in the car, but they're taking your invitations. They are guiding people into parking spaces where the valets will move the cars into the lot. It is a Hollywood premiere and then some. The full stops have been undone. And as you all exit the vehicle and take to the sidewalk, you realize that, yeah, she went way overboard. And a portion of you all are a little envious because the sidewalk, the gray, unassuming sidewalk of every suburb has been redone. Freshly smooth concrete laid over with an actual red carpet guiding you to the door. No photographs, no cameras, but otherwise you feel as if you're stepping onto the world stage.
There is a lot of internal uncomfort at the idea of stepping on the world stage for Louis, but mask of indifference. You know, you can't tell. Maybe, hopefully not.
And how, outside of being dressed and couturied by Dia, has Louis prepared?
So, using access, or using my wonderful closet of disguises, I'll have granted my helpers effectively the moving guys attire, as the intention is for them to pull around the back and start off loading the stuff, and I'll meet them up back there. And as they're bringing it in, of course, there's going to be questions asked, questions to which I will put to rest, and get the stuff stowed where it needs to be stowed. And after that, before that, I'll have contacted the various people that owe me things within the building, and set them about their tasks.
Okay.
Given the
Sounds like a plan. Well, the first things first, to make sure that they are in place, or to see if they got into place, we're going to have you roll your manipulation plus larceny.
Right.
As they utilize and the security that's in place, and they present themselves as unassuming. They're here to help. They were, day labor, well, in this case, night labor, and they're here just to get these bottles inside and help set up and blah 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 blah, on and on and on and on. The lies compounding into the next, creating a mirror maze of the mind to lose anyone who's on their case, anyone who's paying attention to these nobodies being part of the somebodies.
Would I be able to add my side hustler favors under here?
Yes.
Okay. And possibility for rouse or no?
No, you're accounting for your assistance, really.
Alright, let's go.
Right, sorry to interrupt.
Praise Stan, everyone!
Gotcha. Thank you, Muzan. I'll have this up as quickly as I possibly can.
And I do apologize about that. I didn't mean to shout in glory.
No. When I saw that, I was very happy for you. And happy for us. Any success is good. Alright, I have to go, though, because I have an early start. So good night, everyone. I wish us all the best success possible.
We'll make sure to message you the results.
Alright. Take care.
Take care.
The problem with Thin Blood is they don't have beasts, or typically they don't have beasts. They're shadows of themselves. They are hints at best of what the beast actually is in the average case. Unfortunately, when dealing with the lowest common denominator, that is very rarely the situation. Some of them have ghost beasts that actually have teeth and claws, and most pressingly, fangs, and the need to sink into flesh. They not only talk their way through, there is a small scuffle and a outbreak of, why are you fucking making it so goddamn, and it goes from there to absolutely ballistic. It pulls several of the security officers out of place and out of position. They leave the office to try to make sure that the situation is okay. They're wearing the right uniforms, and there's cries of pain as after making such an ostentatious arrival, you, Dia, and Dancer Dan, looking very much as if you are the belles of the ball. The scrum and fracas, the full-out row at the rear of Chiffon is enough to start pulling security in that direction, to have the shield walled around Albu close. They're enough to cause one and more to be out of position, to be out of place. And even with that vociferousness, even with that animalistic drive to get a job done, they managed to get a portion of the entirety inside. And while one of them is being all but actually arrested, the other continues working as best as possible, allowing their bestial nature to not be driven to the surface. Once inside, Dia, with Lewis slipping away, what would be your intentions? What is it that she's trying to accomplish?
Mostly distraction, I guess. Keeping people off kilter. Look here, we're here as friends. We want to congratulate you. This is such a lovely place. Don't look behind me. You know, that kind of thing. Just kind of like glad-handing, smiling, doing what she do best. Charming the shit out of people.
I see. Very much the Toreador. Oh, this place is great, but look at me.
Dia, having made such an outstanding initial arrival, fashionably late and just fashionable all around, gets more than a few eyes on her, drawing Silk close enough to, oh, I didn't think that you'd make it. I'm so glad that you're here. And the conversation that begins to take place. Hang on one second. Sorry, folks. Seems the little one's having issues.
Absolutely not. Oh, Dia. Oh man, I'm so glad that I went through with that. I wouldn't say without a hitch, but it went through, and that's all that matters. Oh damn.
Why are you out here instead of in your room going to sleep?
It's not over yet. We still gonna.
It's not over yet. I've got
Get out of here.
I mean, yeah. That's why I was chuckling at the whole. You come in with me. I'm like, I don't want to be in that building.
But I mean, like, it's always just like, oh, what happened to your date? He went off somewhere.
Your date is on your arm, alright? I'm just a lovely, dovely, forgettable guest. I've got one of those faces, you see.
Yes, Dan is a lovely date. We have been on a date. We actually did. We went Dan asked Dia to the movies. And they attempted to go, but then at the time, before everybody got murdered, the sheriff fucked up their date.
Alright, sorry about that. And welcome back. Welcome back, Gina. Alright, so closes to a conversational distance and begins engaging you directly. You and your entourage and the hideous, repulsive dancer Dan, who she seems to know by name. because as she addresses you, she flicks her gaze towards him, and like a magic trick from the days of old, his mask slips away as if it's being melted like old snow. And the truth of who and what he is stands there revealed. His charred, melted visage acting in 100% stark contrast to the well-appointed, tailored outfit that he's been wearing. His entrance and his passing muster and the stylistic flourishes only driving home how horribly scarred and disturbed his seeming actually is.
Yeah, it doesn't even let that bother her. She's seen him in his true form before, so she just kind of smiles at Silk. Well, it is the hottest chicken in town, apparently, and I had to stop by. I mean, I don't know how long I'll stay, mind you, but it is quite gorgeous, yes.
I have to admit, I was hoping to speak with you later, but as we are here now, and there is no pressing need of me with the other guests, as far as the matter of your debts, how would you like to arrange? How would you like to arrange for payment to be made? After all, I understand that you are an upstanding member of us lovely individuals, and you will make sure that everything is in its place, that we are properly balanced, you and I, so that there's no issue going forward, correct?
Of course not. I would never want a potentially lucrative business arrangement to go sour. Now, would I?
I should hope
What
not.
kind of tourist would I be?
Indeed. And she looks at Dan and then back to you. Would you be so kind as to roll your dexterity and either athletics or subterfuge? Did you see it coming and hold your composure and move just enough out of the way, or did you leap back and allow the vitae scented, thick, viscous, nearly black liquid to splash and splatter?
Dex plus subterfuge is a 5.4. I'll roll that for you right now.
Much luck, much luck. If you fail, do it spectacularly. Hey! Talk about a 180, what the fuck?
Watching the server eyeing you both, you're not sure whether the server is part of the actual retinue. They're dressed appropriately, they're carrying the tray properly, but as they've been eyeing you, Silk and Dan, for the last few moments since Lewis disappeared, you kept them in the periphery of your vision. You kept watching where they were, and when they moved closer, seeming to offer glasses, to offer drinks, to offer aperitifs. The annoyance that drifts over Silk's face makes you believe that monsters are real. You already knew they were, but seeing them up close and personal is another matter entirely. Her beautiful statuesque figure, form, and face shatters into a million pieces as this stench of the life of Kindred spills all over her frock, all over the floor, and barely misses you and Dan. It is thick enough and rich enough that your hunger, even satiated as you are, peaks around the edges. The vintage you recognize. The pain that you and your coterie have suffered sitting plainly there across her. What you were not prepared for is the immediate savage attack that leaves her as this accident happens. You crineness! And it shatters eardrums. Glasses break. The monster not only peeks from her gaze, but possesses her fully as she lashes out, her hand moving in a blur across the server's cheek, shattering the occipital lobe and the orbital socket. You hear the crunch and break of bone as they go down. And as they go down, while outside, arriving on the scene, watching one of your members, one of the Down and Out Club being carted away, you know what the outcome is. Kindred don't get arrested. The fact that they are in handcuffs and being trundled as if they were, well, criminals. There is a sinking suspicion that the gig is up. The fact that there are 3 clearly members of the security team helping the cops take this ranting and raving members of the club away, there is an impossibility that there won't be a search of the premises. There's an impossibility that there won't be a clamping down of security. What is Lewis doing?
Okay. Well, if things will kick off soon, then maybe it's best to get my work done fast.
Their partner, one of the others, has already gotten most of the supplies inside. But it is clear that, well, the monster is only able to do so much. And in this particular case, with it rearing its head as it did, there will be an equal and opposite reaction.
Okay. And these are relatively indistinguishable from other alcohols, so long as you don't pop the cap.
Yes.
Okay. Then, if that's the case, while I'm out and about pulling favors, is it possible to have one of the caterers take me back there and we relocate the bottles from the contraband crate into their proper storages, swapping things out, as it were?
Yes. That is always a possibility, which means you're going to need to go ahead and roll your manipulation and subterfuge, or your manipulation and leadership.
Okay. Any other things I need to take into account here?
Roll as high as you can.
Okay. I believe Side Hustler just makes this possible. It doesn't account to the roll, correct?
Correct.
Rouse here or no rouse?
Sure, you can rouse.
Okay. Alright, that'll be 3 successes. Sometimes the dice, they have a debt to be paid.
Blood for the blood god, as they say.
Oh, what a shame, what a shame.
What do you mean where they need to go? We're not gonna have them long enough. Have you seen the way these people are drinking this swill down? What is that no-name knockoff shit? Save it for the first floor. Just leave it where it is. It's perfectly fine. We don't have to move it anywhere. You aren't you one of the guests?
Yes, I am a guest, but I have a very particular interest in this brand. It was brought in here specifically for me.
Well, then take a bottle for yourself and fuck off. We've got a lot of shit to do. Do you realize how much these fuckers are drinking? We've already gone through 19 cases of this crap. Shit from Milwaukee, of all places. What the fuck?
Alright, fine. He takes a bottle. But, just saying, would have been nicer to see it chilled while it's sitting here.
It's not gonna be cold enough. And wine shouldn't be cold anyway. What are you, a rube?
There's a look of genuine offense on his face, but internally he's like, "Oh, it's not supposed to be chilled? What the fuck?" You know what? I'll just take that at face value and move on. You clearly handle wine more often than I do.
Yes, I fucking do. I've come. Look, I know you don't mean any offense, but I'm tired of this shit. We were just down in Indianapolis a week ago, and I got nothing but chewed out by assholes like you, thinking they know my job better than me. Look, I don't get.
Hey, whoa! I get that, man. I'm not here to chew you out. Okay, I'm just here to try and handle my material. You got a tough day. I see all the people out there. I see all the cars. I see all the fancy shit. This is the kind of situation where everything goes to hell on a dime, and I wish you luck with that, and I'm sorry that Indianapolis was a piece of shit, but, I'm not trying to make your day more stressful. I would just appreciate it if this could be moved.
Yeah, we'll get to it. It's fine. It needs to breathe once we open it anyway, but don't worry about that. Just go enjoy the fucking party. Just fuck off, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Alright. And hey,
why are you hassling the guests? Don't you have a fucking job to do? I'm trying, but he's back here fucking with me. Excuse me, sir. This is for the employees. You follow me inside?
Sure. Yeah, sorry about that. I just wanted to collect this. He jingles the bottle a little bit. Lead on.
It's a little greedy, but that's fine. And as you all make it through the hall into the most inner workings of the building, this first floor, you hear a collective inhalation of air as there's a shrieking, wailing, undead voice beating one of the servants within an inch of their life. Part of you wishes and prays, and you know for a fact that can't be Dia, that can't be Dan, that can't be Muzan. But lo and behold, as you make your way into that gallery, Dia is standing less than 2 feet as Aphrodite herself wails on the lowly Hephaestus. There's spilled red down her frock. There's shattered glass. There's broken bones. And part of you senses that something is not right because this servant is taking the beating like a fucking champ.
That man either has a kink or knew this was to happen. So, seeing Dia, seeing the oddness of the situation, just kind of reconnoiter with his group. As far as have I managed to get a hold of those that I need to get a hold of amongst the staff?
Yes. Security is tighter than it should be. People are out of position. There is a issue happening around the edges of the room. You see several of the security officers looking at their cell phones and typing with their thumb, which is very much unlike hired muscle. You see a few of the faces frowning. They should be happily enjoying this debacle. Everyone likes violence. Just call it what it is. Everyone likes a spectacle. Yet, this is a bit much. And you still haven't seen Prince Voivod Albu as of yet.
Okay.
Can Dia try to help put us back on track?
How will she do so? Watching Silk display far more muscle than one would expect. Watching Silk's beast rise to the floor in such a melodramatic way. The snarling, the twisted face, and the wailing and beating of the waiter. There's something theatrical about it. There's something horribly scripted about it.
No, wait, you said it looks scripted?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which part of it? Her almost exaggerated fury, or the waiter?
That's a good question. Which do you think it is? There's the feeling of this is a tale as old as time. The rich elites having their way with monstrousness against those who are not of their echelon, or the fact that the clearly servant level waiter is taking it on the chin.
Okay. Just kind of seeing the crowd not quite enjoying this, the security guards texting and not having seen Albu, just kind of pop up next to Dia and whisper, just, you may want to try and help her get under control. If this thing gets any more out of hand, we might have to leave.
Hey there, Silk. We know they deserve this, says one of the waiters, whose voice sounds oddly familiar. But how about we get you situated for your guests after all? And yes, they deserve that and more, but forgive me for overstepping my bounds, but maybe we should. Voice sounds oddly familiar, though the face does not.
Like Dan or Calabalarshi?
No, Dan's on Dia's right. Lewis is approaching from wide left, moving around the huddled, beaten, wastrel as Silk has her way with them.
Darling, your face is your makeup is getting messed up. You want to make the best presentation, I'm sure. Calm down, please. We can get you something else gorgeous to wear as that. Come. I know you have a closet full of clothing.
All right, go ahead, roll your manipulation and persuasion as high as you possibly can.
Don't you tag all on this?
Is she?
Are you? Do you?
Oh, could I use dominate instead? I got implant suggestion.
You unfortunately need a conversation. You need to make eye contact. You need to gain her eye contact.
Nah, then I'll stick with all.
Roll away.
So something of a question. The help that just approached. Does he got one of those faces that like it feels like I could place it somewhere, but like I can't remember exactly where from? Super like vague features. Like he could be anywhere.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, OC, I know what's going on. You know, willpower is an option. Sweet, sweet, beautiful. If you're gonna burn it, burn it all.
She does the most classless thing that you have seen any Toreador actually do. She kicks them squarely and firmly in the crotch as she fine, attend me, let's go, come on, and you can tell that there's a battle of wills inside her head on whether she's going to drive the heel of her shoe through his undamaged eye socket. The thought is so bright and so clear that it is obvious what the next action would be. And yet
I'm going to physically interpose myself between him and her so that she can't take that step. Kind of like you're chasing geese with your arms outstretched, like, nah, come on, girl, come on.
You're right. It would not be kind for us to step on rats, would it? Not in this fine established group. I suppose you've earned your way into our VIP section. Come on, it's up to the 3rd floor. I was hoping to show someone worthy of the VIP area, but I suppose your coterie will do. Come along.
I'll hop along, ever so happy with the not so subtle insults.
I cannot believe that the catering service hired by Prince Albu would tolerate, and forgive me, Dan, I mean every offense, but none directly towards you, Nosferatu to serve in this gathering like this. This is simply ridiculous.
The fact that she just keeps bringing up the fact that she knew Dan, well, she knows Dan, but she's mentioning Nosferatu repeatedly, it's making Dia a little uneasy, and she very carefully shoots a look at Lewis like, oh shit.
There's just a smile of contentness as he goes along and just, I know what you mean. To be fair, I'm starting to get the impression that quantity and quality are definitely something that needs to be taken into account whenever it comes to help. Just because you can have able hands doesn't mean that you should bring them along, especially if their work matches their visage. No offense, Dan.
certainly every bit taken, but I understand. We're not everyone's cup of tea. And being as we're going up to the VIP, don't you want one of your valets to help? The guy that was trying to... No, I don't believe that any more will be needed. We'll have all the services we need. There is a special staff for the VIP area, better trained, of course. You do understand, don't you, Dan? Yeah, I completely understand. Dia here is my favorite person. For her, I do almost anything, including put up with all of the insults, if you don't mind me being frank with you. Of course, Dan, you've always been honest when visiting Salacious. I understand exactly where you stand, and just so that you're aware, if I meant any harm, I would act on it. Post haste, if not sooner. Which is what that was for. I don't tolerate second and third best. Hence the reason why I'm inviting you all to my VIP section. You can watch me change, and it will be more than repayment enough for your kindness in stepping in and keeping me from slaughtering, from punching down any more than I already was. After all, it is not every day when we have the opportunity of spending time together. It's not every day when everything that came before ends. It is not every day. Now, mind you, as you all are moving through the galleries and heading to the elevator, the glassware, the Tiffany shades, and all of those few kindred on this level dressed to their best, the staff buzzing around, you manage to move from one public facing gallery to the next, to the third and fourth gallery in. You realize that it's gotten more intimate each gallery that you've all passed until you're at the back of the building, stepping onto the elevator. And as she speaks, the elevator rises silently. And as the doors open, the alarms sound as the security guards who were pulled away because of the disruption at the back of the building return to the security office, and the alarms go off because there are disabled officers. There are signs of struggle. And Nosferatu that was supposed to follow you all here is not present. The server and waiter that was supposed to assist you all into the elevator and up to the third floor is not here. And as the alarms sound and the doors open, Prince Albu and her, the doctor, and his adjutant are sitting on what could best be described as a throne and a raised stage facing the elevator. This is the central gallery of the building, the VIP area. There are seats to the left, seats to the right. There's a central table that sits just below the raised throne. And the part that makes things all the absolute worse, that causes the blood to run cold. Many of the seats are already taken. And most glaringly, the part that twists the dagger is that Miss Rossi is seated to the very right hand of Prince Albu, with Felix over her shoulder. Concordia see a couple of people look a little confused. Excuse me. You see a couple of people look confused as she calls you by name. And the worst of it, the part that is a gut punch, emotionally. There's a all too familiar face. A bearded, handsome face. A wizened, old, zaddy, silver-haired fox settled to the left of Prince Albu. A face you all know as the newly appointed regent of the Dolton Chantry. I did not believe that you would be so successful, Silk. But if you believe that this is what we should do, then your skills have proven themselves. And as per our agreement, I will grant you the role of Principal of Faith to lead us spiritually into the new dawn of Thornton Township. And we accept your suggestion that Concordia become the primogeniture of the Toreador of Dolton.
There's the kind of single raised eyebrow look over to Dia as this revelation is had.
She very quietly licks her top lip, looking at the room, and knowing damn well that there was no way for the others to follow her up. And their attempt to kill Silk all but quashed by the fact that there was no way to follow her up. Thinking about there was still the plan to kill Alvin. Kind of titters. Oh, fate is the most hilarious thing.
Please join us, Primogen Concordia. You and your council have proven to be worthy potential adversaries for those who will come after us. It is important that we, the kindred of Thornton Township, lead with and by example of both our kindness and our nobility. All of the petty games that are played elsewhere will not be played here. We are a united front against those who would take what is ours. Those who would steal our death right. When we were brought into this existence as kindred, it was for the purpose of our sires to carry on a mission laid out by them by their sires, and their sires before them. Please take your seat amongst us, and welcome to the highest echelon possible. The moment that he says that and stands, she looks past Dia and Lewis and Silk and realizes that they were not alone in the elevator. Leaping out of the elevator, unmasking themselves due to their rapid action, is a pernicious holdover from mortal society, an assassin. And not just any assassin, a Nosferatu assassin. And she leaps into action, moving between her physical seeming to an owl to her physical seeming in the blink of an eye, covering the distance silently and quickly. Silk pushes Dia out of the way and falls back to her right so that she can face whatever's coming at her. As her Albu's right hand enforcer covers the distance, the building is rocked by explosions. And in the hour and a half that it's taken for everyone to get here, Katarzyna could swear that somewhere in the night there's a rumble and a burst of flame. Makes no sense being this far away and far removed, but she could feel or hear the woof of explosion, the rush of fire, the screaming and chaos. But she knows in her soul this is exactly what's taking place. Somewhere back there in the night, in the shadow of her now past, chaos is unleashed. Death comes to Dolton. And once again, she survives by not being where death can find her. Thank you all for a lovely episode. And I will see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
God diggity fucking damn!
Good night, guys.
Stamp and roll new characters.
Good night.